Cisco Umbrella is your ultimate solution to achieve distraction-free learning environments in schools and universities. Hi everyone, it is good to see your smiling faces again. My name is Hamza and I am IT consultant working at Azure, Norway. In today's video, I will teach you how to configure Cisco Umbrella for safeguarding students' online experiences powered by Microsoft Azure Intune and Microsoft Entra ID, ensuring seamless learning environment during exam and everyday activities, whether students are connected to wired, wireless, 4G or hotspot networks. Cisco Umbrella offers robust protection and policy enforcement. If that sounds good, let's get started. Let's take a look at the key elements that we will be using in this lab. I will start the configuration by following this structured order, starting from Cisco Umbrella dashboard and working my way down. Both Cisco Umbrella and Microsoft Azure Intune along with Entra ID offer a free trial so that you can absolutely follow along this lab without any cost. Okay, now I'm logged into my Cisco Umbrella dashboard. I will go to deployment, roaming computers, click on roaming clients, download the pre-deployment package. Now the download is complete, I need to download the module profile for the Cisco Umbrella. In order to push the Cisco Secure client to my Windows test machine using the Microsoft Azure Intune, I need to download and install Microsoft Content Prep tool that will convert the installation file into .intune win format. I will go to the GitHub page of the tool, click on the code and download the zip file. Now I need to go to the folders here and extract both the Cisco Secure Client deployment package and my content prep tool. I need to copy the JSON file and go inside the Cisco Secure Client package, go to Profile, under Umbrella, I will paste it here. Now I need to convert the installation file into Intune Win format. So I go inside my Content Prep tool, double click on the exe file and click on Run. Here I need to specify my source folder, back to the downloads, go to my Secure Client and copy the path, paste it here, hit enter. I need to specify the setup file. First I will convert the core VPN setup file, copy the name, paste it here, hit enter. I need to specify the output folder. This is a new folder, go inside, copy the path, paste it here, hit enter. Do I need to specify a catalog? No. Hit enter. Now it's converting the setup file for my core VPN. And after I finish, I need to do the same with the Umbrella setup file. Specify the source folder, copy the path, paste it here, hit enter. The setup file will be my Umbrella. Hit enter. The output folder, I will create a folder. Go inside and copy the path. Paste it here, hit enter, no catalog. Okay, now I need to move to the next step, which is going to be going to my Azure Intune and add the application for both the core VPN and the Umbrella. Now I will go to apps. My test machine is a Windows, so I will choose the platform of Windows, click on add, and the type will be Windows app. Select, specify the package here, Intune VPN, and choose my core VPN. Click on open, click on OK. Publisher is Cisco, and I can choose a logo. Click on OK, OK, and hit on next. The good thing about the content prep tool that it detects the install command and the uninstall command, so I don't need to do anything here. I can go ahead and click on next. And my operating system architecture, I will choose both 32 and 64, and I will choose the minimum available Windows 10. Click on next. My detection rule will be manual, add, MSI, and it detects the product code automatically. Click on OK, next, 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 and I will leave the assignment empty for now and click on next to create the application. Okay, so the upload is finished. I need to do the same with the Umbrella. If I go back to the apps here, go to Windows, click on add. Select the type, it's a Windows app, select select the package. Intune Umbrella, choose the file, click on open. Publisher is Cisco and select image. Okay, next. And as we mentioned, I don't need to do anything about the installation command and uninstall command because the prep tool detects this automatically. Click on next. My operating system 32 and 64. Click on next. Detection rule will be manual. Click on add, select MSI. Click on OK, next, 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 and I will leave the assignment empty for now. Click on next and create the application. So this is my test machine, and I will open the company portal and I will sign in. This is my test username that I newly created for the purpose of this lab, and I will allow my organization to manage my device. I will click on OK. And we are all set. So if I go to device, go to Windows, now I can see the device here. Now I need to push both the application that I added here. Click on the Cisco AnyConnect VPN properties, edit the assignments. I have two options, the required and available for enrolled device. I want to push the application without the user interaction. So under the required, I will add all users and all devices. Review and save. And as we can see here on the notification, this is the Microsoft Intune software distribution telling me that AnyConnect VPN was installed successfully. If I try to open Cisco AnyConnect now, if I click on it, I can see that the AnyConnect is there, but my Umbrella profile is not yet being installed. So I will go back to my Azure Intune, go to the apps, Windows, and go to my Secure Client Umbrella, Properties, Assignment, click on Edit, and under the required, I will add all the users and devices. Of course, if you have different groups for student or other departments, you can choose them from here, but for the simplicity of this lab, I will just choose all users and all devices. Click on Save, click on Save. And while we are waiting for the Umbrella application to be installed on my managed device, I can open a web browser and go to welcome.umbrella.com/ops, and this is telling me that my device isn't using Umbrella DNS. And once I get the notification that my Umbrella application has been successfully installed and refresh the page or go to the page again, then I will see a message that my PC is using Umbrella. Okay, now I see the notification telling me download and installing Cisco Secure Client Umbrella. This is the notification telling me Umbrella was installed successfully. If I close this page, and I can see that the Secure Client AnyConnect VPN and the Umbrella is active. Let's verify the install status on the Azure Intune from the Intune Admin Center. If I go to the device, go to Windows, this is my test machine, managed apps. Here we can verify the install status. If I go back to my Cisco Umbrella dashboard, deployment, roaming computer, here I can see my desktop is there. Back to the web browser, welcome.umbrella.com, refresh the page. Now you see the message that your internet is faster, more reliable, and better protected because you are using Cisco Umbrella. Now we need to go back to the Umbrella dashboard and start creating the policy for exam and everyday activities. Let's go and create the policy here. If I go to the policy, use DNS policy, click on the default policy. The best practice for the default policy is to block everything. So I will turn on the allow only mode, and that means that everything is blocked unless I specify the domain or the site that I want to allow. The destination allow list here being used, but the global allow list is empty, has nothing inside of it. Set and return, save it here, and then I will start building my policy. Click on add. And here is asking me how would you like to protect. I will leave the default setting here, and I will click on the advanced setting, and I will make sure that every request will be logged. Click on next. Here I need to specify the identity. For now I have only my roaming client as the identity, so I will choose it from the list here. Click on the arrow here and my Windows test machine will appear, and I will select it and click on next. I don't want to use anything that has the word default. I will click and create a new one, give it a name, and I will create it from scratch and click on create. And I will block all the category listed here: malware, newly seen domains, command and control, phishing attacks, dynamic DNS, and all the other. And click on save. Click on next. Here the limit content access, I will choose moderate, and these are the category that will be blocked here. You can create your own or set it to low or high, but for me I will use the moderate. Click on next. The application setting, again I'm not going to use any default setting here, so I can create my own, create a new setting, and I will give it a name. If I want to block, for example, Facebook, I can select it here. From the gear icon, I can click on it and allow the application. But I will leave the default setting here, so I will uncheck the box and click on save. Click on next. The destination list, I have a list of bad domains and harmful sites that are developed by the Criminal Police Center, and they recommend that every school and educational institute use that list to secure their learning environment. I will click on add a new list and I will give it a name. The action will be blocked, and here I can click on upload and click on select file. And this is the list that I have, and I will click apply. And here are the lists that I have here. I have 182 record. I will click on save, and now I can click on next. File analysis, I will leave the default. Click on next. Block page, I will use the umbrella default appearance. That's okay for me. Click on next. I will give the policy a name, and I will click on save. Now I created this policy for everyday activity. I will create another one that will be used during the exam. During the exam, the school will dictate which domains are allowed and block everything else. So I will create a new policy here. I will use the same default protection. In the advanced setting, I will use the allow only mode, and I will make sure that all the requests will be logged and click on next. And my identity will be the roaming client, and I will choose my test machine. Click on next. Create a new one, and I will give it the name exam security setting, and I will use the same blocking category as my everyday activity, and I will click on next. Click on next here, and my limit content access will be high. Click on next. And the application setting, I will use the same application setting for my everyday activity. Click on next. And since I enabled the allowed only mode, which means that everything will be blocked unless I specify the list that will be allowed. And in this page here, the destination list, I will add the only domain that will be allowed during the exam when this policy being used. So I will click on add a new list, give it a name. I will just make it simple and add the website of my municipality. And I will click on add, click on save. So my global allow list has nothing inside it, but my Sundal exam has only one record, which is the website of the municipality. Click on next and next, and I will use the umbrella default appearance for the block page, and I will click on next here. This is a review of my policy, and I will give it a name and click on save. And now my exam Sundal are the one that being used because the policy are evaluated from the top to bottom. So my exam Sundal will be used now. If I go back to my test machine, and if I go to YouTube, I can see that the umbrella is blocking the page. But if I go to the only domain that I added in my list, which is sundal.kommune.no, then I will be allowed. Now we can verify that this site is allowed, and I will open a new tab and try vg.no, Again, I see the blocking page here. It is important to install the Cisco Umbrella root certificate in your environment so that you won't get any warning. Since we are using Entra ID, so I need to integrate Azure Entra ID with Cisco Umbrella so that I can use the username or groups that I have in my Entra ID when I am building my policy, and that will give me more flexibility when I'm applying a policy for different groups and departments. So I need to go back to my Entra ID, click on Enterprise Application, New Application, and in the search bar I need to search for the Cisco User Management for Secure Access. Click on the application, and I will leave the default name here and click on Create. Click on Provisioning, click on Get Started. The provisioning model, I will choose Automatic. Here I need to give the tenant URL and the secret token. Go back to my Umbrella dashboard. Okay, go to Admin, click on API Keys, Static Keys, choose the Azure Active Directory Provisioning and Generate Token. Copy the token and go back to my Microsoft Azure Application Provisioning and paste the token here. Go back, copy the URL, go back to the provisioning tenant, and I can test the connection, and the test is successful. I can provide an email here so that I can receive any notification when failure occurs. I will just leave it unchecked and I will click on Save. I'll go back to the application now, click on Provisioning, and I will click on Start Provisioning. I will click on Users and Groups. I will click on Add User and Groups. If I click on Non-Selected, I will choose this account because this is the one that I created for the lab. And I will click on Select and Assign. Application assignment succeeded. And now if I go back to my Umbrella dashboard, go to the deployment and click on Users and Groups, I can see that the Azure Active Directory status is enabled. And if I click on the users, I can see that I have one user, and click the arrow, I can see that this is my test username that I created in my Entra ID. And what I can do now is to go back to my policy again and go to my everyday activity. Under the identity affected, I can click on Edit Identity, and now I can select my Entra ID username. And this is an AND operation, which means that the everyday activity policy needs to have the identity of the roaming computer with this name, plus the username of my Entra ID that I just integrated of BLT. Click on Set and Return and save the policy here. And I will do the same in the exam policy here. Click on the identity affected, go to the ID user, select the user, set and return, save. And the policy tester is a great place to check your policy. Choose my identity here and give a destination and run the test. It's giving me that the destination was blocked due to allow list only mode, telling me that this policy is being applied. If I click on it, I can see the detail of this policy. If I click on reset again, and what I can do is to move the policy down so that my everyday activity will be first, and then run the test again, choosing my identity and run the test. Now I can see that the destination was allowed, and it's telling me that this policy is being applied, and if I can click on it, I can see the detail of this policy. The final test is to verify that the block list that we created here, which I called it Kripos block, is working properly. So I will go to the text file and choose one of the domain. Let's take, for example, this one, copy the address, go to my policy tester, paste it here and run the test. Now it's telling me that this is the destination list, Kripos blocked, giving me a detail about the category and the policy applied. When I click on the policy, I can see the detail. And now, no matter what network the students are connected to, whether they are at school or at home, the policy that we created here will be applied. Thank you for watching.